everyone. I see someone sneaking around behind me. That's quite strange. So, as we said, welcome to Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm A. Wesley Rush, and I'd like to bring you the DS106Radio Telethon. We have a series of interesting guests today that I will bring on one at a time, and eventually we'll get all people on the set and maybe have a bit of a sing-along. Who knows? So, what I'd like to do periodically is also mention some of the kind and generous people who have donated to DS106 Radio today. We can start with, and I'm going to only read their Twitter handle for sake of privacy. D. Kernahan from Bristol, UK. Thank you very much for your kind donation. Also, Easgill from Hamilton. Not the real one in Scotland, but the other one in New Zealand. There's also one in Hamilton, Ontario, I believe. Also, Stephen Hurley from Milton, Ontario, Canada. Thank you all very much for your donations. What I'd like to do now is bring on our first guest, and I will wrestle this microphone away from the stand. This first guest comes from Welland, Canada, Welland, Ontario. It's a state, you know, so it's Welland, Canada. Who we have here today is Julia Forsyth.
Andy, I'm a huge fan.
Oh,
I came all the way to Canada to bring you and Timmy Boy some black socks.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because I
would like you to keep these in the office for
Okay.
those days, you know, every third day when Timmy wears white socks, and
Right.
he can wear these. Put these next to the Coca-Colas.
I actually could have used those today because I had to switch to my blue socks.
Oh,
I don't know if you can.
wrong.
Maybe you can tell.
Wrong. Okay, there's two pairs here, so one's for you and one's for Timmy Boy.
Okay.
These are special gifts just for you.
Aren't you wonderful? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. So take your seat there, get yourself comfortable, and we'll chat a little bit about how you got involved with DS106 and what you kind of think so far of our fundraising efforts, our telethon itself, that sort of thing.
You guys have brought it. You've been doing great. I've just been watching and tweeting.
We try to make a difference. We try to share. We try to... I'm getting some directions from off stage. I have no clue what that means.
They bring their A game.
A game. Thank you, Julia, for the help. I'm actually dyslexic, so it looked like it would be
as opposed to Timmy Boy's A game, which is the absent.
Well, and to be fair, Timmy Boy, we appreciate you letting us use all these facilities. I hope the broadcast looks as good as when Timmy does do the role of producer of this particular show. So again, shout outs to Timmy Boy in Richmond right now. But so Julia, your thoughts of Fredericksburg, maybe your thoughts of the crappy weather, your thoughts of just the general jocularity and friendliness and warmth of the Fredericksburg people. Can you speak at all to that?
It's a great city, actually. It's very lovely. It's pretty much anywhere town North America.
Sure. It is.
I love the way that people just sort of crawl around town. Like it's a crawling kind of city.
That's our gaffer who just crawled across there. He needed to tape a cable down on the floor. I don't know if we saw the kind of the refrigerator repairman look that went by there, but again, we might see him a little bit later.
I just want it to be known that it only took 8.5 hours to get here, not 12, like Jim Groom said it would be.
Yeah, there was a bit of a communication error there. I think there was someone named Andrew Rush who said that it might be 10 hours, and that of course got translated to 12.
That would be wrong.
So we split the difference and we call it 8.5.
It was well worth the drive to come down here, just to even be near the Cuddle Coach. Noise Professor, I hope I get a Cuddle Coach badge now that I'm on a chair.
Absolutely, yes. I hear badges are all the rage.
Yeah, well, I think they really reward work well done.
Sure.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we won't need to even worry about.
Let's make a QR code for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to read a couple more names of people who have contributed, and funnily enough, we have Timmy Boy from Richmond, Virginia, one of our contributors. Also, Schweier from Saskatoon, Canada. Saskatoon is Manitoba? Saskatchewan, sorry. Oh, of course.
Roll on, Saskatchewan.
it's the microphone nerves here that made me make that mistake here.
Right.
Brian Jack from Port Moody, British Columbia in Canada. Thank you very much, Brian.
Port Moody.
And also 1% Yellow,
Yeah.
who is on the move.
Yeah,
Thank
she's
you
heading up to
for being
Montreal.
on the move.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Julie, again, thank you for the socks.
Yes, I hope.
Thank you for being here for all the various stocks that we've had. And also, but most importantly, this fundraising for DS106 Radio.
My pleasure.
Please stay seated as we're going to bring on our next guest from the lovely city of Hartford, Connecticut. We have the Dr. Garcia, Gina Garcia.
Yay!
Welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Have a seat. I can ask kind of the similar questions that I did to Julia about what your impressions are about the great city of Fredericksburg and what you've experienced here. Is there one particular memory that you have that you associate with your visit here?
Probably spilling 6 ounces of red wine on ENIAC last night while I was completely sober.
I
that
heard
was
about
really
that little
problematic.
disaster. And what is ENIAC's status at this point?
He is hanging out in the basement of Casa Baba, hopefully drying out.
Upside
Okay.
down.
Yeah, he's upside down right now. And I would just like to point out, dear listeners and watchers, that prior to that incident, Jim Groom had actually manhandled ENIAC twice.
Yeah, there was some like unwarranted, unrequited
Fondling.
fondling. Yeah, a little bit of plugging in.
Excuse me,
touching.
Wally.
Yeah, I'm waiting to be requited.
He plugged this cable scenario into his backside. And
Did
then
he even say, "Can I do that,
He
please?"
he totally didn't. He just grabbed him and then stuck the cable in the back. Right?
Well, I think ENIAC needed some wine after that.
So do we have
and a cigarette?
do we have hope for
Good for
ENIAC
ENIAC
at
as it was
least?
for me.
Is there some hope?
And in all seriousness, folks, I turned it on this morning, and it literally popped and fizzed when I turned it on. And so the issue is that wine is a lot of liquid, obviously. It's alcohol and water and whatever else it is, but it's also a lot of sugar. And sugar turns into syrup, right?
Indeed.
And so even the heat of the machine is going to juice up the syrup once the wine dries up. So it could be a problem.
We're really worried, but you
I
have.
am
you have
concerned, but
your-
I'm staying super cool. It's
Yeah.
not getting in the way of any of the fun.
It's because you're a pro, Gina.
I try to bring my A game.
Yeah, we're hoping for the best. Yeah, apparently this is.
This is the A
Oh,
game,
wait.
as opposed to red
Appreciate
flag.
Right. Right on.
Guys,
So I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
it's up to you. I'll.
Yeah.
All right. From Henrico School District in close to Richmond, Virginia, we have Tom Woodward. Come on in. Say hello to the DS106 Radio crowd. Have a seat on the couch.
I'm a big fan. I read all your stuff.
Tom's also known as the Bionic Teacher, or associated with Bionic Teaching. Welcome, Tom. You're familiar with the DTLT digs here, so I don't necessarily need to ask you questions about what you think of Fredericksburg. I know how much you revile the place. Since Jim Groom is a local inhabitant, so you try to stay away. I'm sure.
If it weren't for him, the place would be classier, certainly.
We all feel that way, Tom. So glad that you could be here. I want to read a couple more names of some contributors. I'm going to skip a couple of these and bring them back later. We have Lou McGill from Scotland. Thank you, Lou, for your generous contribution.
She's watching. Hey, Lou.
Is she?
Okay.
That's
Yes.
great.
Thank you.
She said she's loving seeing the glorious
We also-
Julia Forsythe.
We also have Noise Professor. Now, this says Folsom. It's not Folsom Prison, is it?
No.
Okay, just plain old Folsom.
Plain
All
old
right.
Folsom.
All right.
Folsom Community College.
Excellent.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that where it's at?
Who?
Zach. He's at Folsom
Okay.
Community College.
I don't think so.
That's Los Rios.
And we also have B.R.
It's even
Lamb.
Folsom.
Is there a B.R. Lamb out there?
the lamb!
Yay!
He hails from the DS106 Nation, by the way.
Nice.
He does.
And we also have M. Bransons from Brooklyn.
Yay!
That man is not trivial.
Thank you all.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard he's not trivial at all.
No,
He again, we thank him for we thank them all for their generous donations. I'd like to bring out another guest. We have a person on here who actually made a contribution as well. He hails from Strawberry, Arizona, and he goes by the moniker of Cog Dog. Cog Dog, could you come on out here, please?
Hey! I want to get your suit dirty.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I love the hugs. I love to crease the tux suit.
Yeah.
Well, Alan.
Tux is sharp.
Well, I dig it out every once in a while to show off. So, Alan, again, welcome. You've been here. You've been to Fredericksburg a couple of times.
It's my second time in.
Second time here. Previous time was Faculty Academy.
Faculty Academy.
And you brought your A game then.
I hope so.
We
but that was 2007. A game has really risen a lot.
That's true.
Since 07.
No,
That's
you're
true.
like an A+ game.
At the time, I think you talked about the being there was your presentation, and again, very enjoyable, and always leave. I mean, the thing that we love to have the people do is just kind of leave our faculty thinking about new things, and you did that, I think, in spades. So we appreciated your presentation, and
it was fun. You guys, I mean, you inspired.
We love having you here, and we try to inspire each other if we can. So there's Alan. Yeah, he's been looking away from the camera this time. So yeah, wave to your mom. Sure, mom and dad. So I want to read a couple more names because we want to make sure that we get everybody on here. Okay, you good? All right. So we have Dragon, who hails from Sound Lab. Thank you very much for your donations, Dragon.
Sound Lab.
Thanks, Dragon.
We have someone known as Hank Soda, who lives on the frontier.
Shadowy figure.
A very shadowy figure. Thank you very much for your contribution. And I'm going to leave a couple of those until the very end. Our next special guest lives right here in the town of Fredericksburg.
Wow.
Very influential character in the Division of Teaching and Learning Technologies.
And his mind.
He hails on Twitter by the strange moniker of @JimGroom. I'd like to welcome Jim Groom to the show. Thank you very much for coming. Have a seat.
Thank you for having me, Andy.
All right.
It's great to be back on the cuddle couch, particularly next to Tom Woodward. Oh, tell me good about my eyes. And you know Timmy Boy wishes he was saying that, but it's me.
I expect to hear about Offspring coming a little later on.
You can't punch me on TV.
No punch.
That's a rule. Not in the face, at least.
All right.
Jerry Springer says
Right, exactly.
We could get
No throwing
So, Jim,
chairs.
yes. Andy.
Give us a little bit of your, your philosophy about life. Maybe talk a little bit about DS106 Radio, but just kind of in general, what your feelings are about, things, the state of education.
I seldom wear underwear.
Okay.
But when I do, it's usually something special.
Okay.
I want to be the big toe of DTLT.
Jim,
I think that's been
what
mentioned.
happened?
Jim
happened?
Groom. What happened? Yeah.
Good. I mean, what's your beef, Jim? Do you have like a beef? Do you have something that's like sticking in your craw?
Like something angry with anything?
Well, if you need to get angry, I suppose.
An issue with something.
Do you have any issues that we
Sure.
need to kind of?
I mean, the whole
air?
DS106 radio, like when I started DS106, it was pure.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pure in my heart. And there was no one who could kind of corrupt that purity. And then we had this idea for DS106 radio. It seemed like a great idea. People did all sorts of things to kind of promote it. Some people got on it, some people didn't. People were actually investing their thoughts and their sounds and their love and their relationships into these airwaves, which I thought was social and connected.
Mm-hmm.
And then we found out, not but this morning, that what's happened on DS106 Radio, everything has been archived in a dark web. That supposedly Grant Potter is selling. Yes.
No.
Selling.
No.
Yes. To authorities all over the world. as a means, which is interesting because it's as a means so that they can take this rich archive of people who've talked on the radio for extended periods of times, like Gina. Julia, not so much, because she only talks to herself and then jumps off if anyone's listening. Alan and Shores. Andy once did a set once. His mother hung him on a hook once. Tom Woodward, I don't even know I was on this fucking couch. And you know, all of us did this, and then he put this in a data bank that supposedly these institutions of power can reconvene and kind of articulate as sounding like us. They've actually consulted Tom Woodward on the technology because he's done this before. He's helping them recut it to sound like it. So I could be saying something on a national broadcast that I never meant to say.
We've actually sold it to that Anya person.
Anya
That's perfect.
And she's doing great with it. She's
She is.
presenting at the Smithsonian. Only I knew.
DIY radio.
DIY radio.
And
And so we'll be saying things like, we hate the institution, we wish it would go away.
So, Dr. Oblivion, what just happened?
Andy, I have no idea. Jim Groom, I would ask him this question if he were here. Jim Groom, what happened? And what he would say to me? He would hem, he would haw, Tom Woodward did it, Gina did it, everyone else did it but him. He has a problem with coming to some sort of sense of accountability. Wants to blame other people for other things.
Sure.
He gets mad. He's a problem. He's what I like to refer to as problematic. That being said, it's good to be on TV again as Dr. Oblivion.
It's actually great seeing you. I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of fans out there of all ages, from little 6-year-old girls to That's it.
Well,
Let's leave it at that.
sometimes it only takes one, Andy.
That's true.
And frankly, being in this space again, having gotten some freedom outside of that space, it's nice to take count of what's important in life.
Sure.
And DS106 Radio is not one of the things that's really important in my life. What's important in my life...
You didn't just say that.
Blasphemy.
I don't know who she thinks she's talking to, because Jim Groom is gone off the radio. Am I right? Is he gone off the couch?
He is gone.
Who's on the couch right now?
Dr. Oblivion.
Dr.
I
Oblivion.
thought everyone knew who you were.
I thought too.
I've actually never seen him before in my life.
You've never seen.
Wow.
Oh, you've never watched any of the videos.
You've never been on the same set
Kinda
as
scarier
Dr.
in
Oblivion.
No.
Yeah.
Dr. Oblivion. Dr. Oblivion is not scary. Dr.
Interesting.
Oblivion is a thinker. He's a deep thinker.
He is.
He's me. I don't know why I should refer to him in the third person.
Well, some people talk
Strange.
like that. They call themselves, by their third, in the third person. So
Yeah.
She was
that's fine.
marketing.
It does
I would
help
think
me
Dr.
market.
Oblivion would be, yeah, right. So,
Dr. Oblivion, when you bring the A game, what does the A stand for you?
Angle.
Anal. Anachronism. Anarchy.
Anachronistic.
let me.
Alcoholic.
This has been a fascinating conversation. Let me thank a couple of other contributors here. Cynthia Sarver from Cortland, New York.
Yeah.
I had actually a personal connection with Cortland, New York. I did my undergraduate work there.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Graduated from SUNY Cortland. So thank you, Cynthia. We also have D.L. Norman from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Dr. Darcia.
He's bringing it from the MST. We
and
have
his
Todd
goat. Him and his
Conaway, who
Conway.
apparently
Yay!
Todd apparently hails from Earth. Very nice, Todd.
Nice.
Arizona.
And we do have a Jim Groom. as well that made a contribution.
He's gone.
He's from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Yeah, we were sorry to have to usher him off the set.
This is what it's like to be Jim Groom right now. Those are the applause you get.
Yeah.
I find what I did, the number I did on Jim Groom's head this summer, has really propelled him into a sick cycle.
He was pretty freaked out.
And I wonder if he'll ever recover. He's not the same.
No.
Look at his blog.
That's true.
I think he banished blogging.
Yeah.
I think he banished blogging. I think he's banished from his own creative self.
It's all pops and whistles I hear in his
He's
blog.
not himself.
He's not himself.
No.
So come home, Jim Groom.
Indeed.
We need you.
Come home.
Big fan of yours. Read all your books.
Well, I think it's right now. I think it's time for a little bit of a sing-along.
Yes.
I'm going to start the music. I'm not sure if we'll be able to hear this. I might have to actually go over and
You got the music.
Do you want to pull
Well,
us a little closer too?
let's see. We can bring up our music.
Oh, you mean our background?
Our background. It's what the world.
No.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're not doing that.
No song. But Gina's going to help out.
Okay. All right. We'll stop that music.
Doesn't mean he knows what's going on.
You got the words, Gina?
Maybe.
Enjoying this, aren't you, deeply? Yeah. You don't feel uncomfortable at all. This is like where you fit in. Sing
You ready?
along, on the couch, bunch of hippies.
Ready?
Always dreaming.
1,
Someone in
2,
the
3. What would you say if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me? Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song, and I'll try not to sing out of key. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get dry with a little help from my friends. Not quite yet. We have another verse.
Not yet.
What do I do when my love is away? Don't just hurry up to be alone. How do I feel at the end of the day? Don't be sad because you're on your own. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try the little help from my friends.
Now?
Yes, do you need anybody? 'Cause I just want somebody love. Could it be anybody? I want somebody to love. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I get high with a little help from my friends. Oh, I'm gonna try the little help from my friends. Awesome!
Thank you very much, everybody. This has been a wonderful DS106 Radio Telethon. Thank you all for joining us. Gina Garcia, Julia Forsyth, Tom Woodward, Dr. Oblivion, Jim Groom out there somewhere,
See you, Jim.
Alan Levine. I thank you all. This is A. Wesley Rush coming to you from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Thanks for joining us. Join us again tomorrow at DTLT today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.